do go ahead and actually, Lisa, scoot your mat to the wall. If you don't have a wall, you will be totally fine without one. If you do have a wall, it will be extra delicious. The wall just is a little extra grounding and can provide some extra support. But when I take my legs up the wall, I often like to bring my blanket with me. So if you take the long edge of your blanket and fold it in half a couple times, you can lay on your back with your legs up the wall, and then maybe even take the soles of the feet onto the blanket, onto the soles of the feet. And if you do not have a wall to work with, just lay on your back comfortably, and that's a great place to begin as well. And then, yeah, find any little micro movements you need here. Get yourself nice and cozy, nice and set up. And then as you close your eyes, take your hands to your low belly and just start to breathe. And I invite you to start by counting your breath. So as you breathe in for a count of 4. And then exhale for a count of 4. And that will be our rhythm to begin. And let's actually, maybe if this is going well, add to the exhale a bit. So as you breathe in for 4, exhale for a count of 6. And you're always welcome to modify that however you wish. But I really would like the focus to be on the exhale this evening, so that we are really invited to ground, invited to slow down, and give ourselves permission to rest, especially as we kind of shift into these longer nights. Can we welcome the invitation for deeper rest? Can you give yourself permission to slow down and really move calmly, steadily? And those long exhales help us to find that slowing down, especially since so many of us tend to be at a pretty heightened state. You are always welcome to open the eyes a little bit if you need to. And just follow the sensations, whatever they may be. How is the breath moving through the body? Can you feel the parts of you that are grounded along the earth? Maybe there's even more sensitivity to this sense of broadening of the lungs, especially with your body resting on the earth. And we'll take about 3 more breaths here. Always remembering you set the pace, you create the rhythm. You do what you need to let yourself feel supported here. And then keeping this sense of grounding inside, gently bend your knees. And again, moving as sweetly as you can, you may roll over to your side. And then as you gently come to sit up, create the same shape, but from an upright position. So you'll have your back to the wall and your seat to the earth. And you can keep the spine upright, hands can rest onto the earth. And as we reorient our bodies, and just notice the shifts. You might notice a sense of the blood flowing a little differently. Maybe now you're more sensitive to how the breath is moving along the hips, along the back of the legs, as the earth provides this boundary to connect you. And if you find the counting of the breath helpful, come back to it. If you prefer just to stay with the sensations of the breath, you're welcome to stay with that as well. Tonight, we're really working against the stream of the outer world wanting to pull us out of ourselves, and how we can create our own natural rhythm. Again, the rhythm of connection, the rhythm of grounding. And now the next time you complete your exhale, go ahead and bend your knees so the soles of the feet touch the ground, and you can take the feet a little wider if you like. And then wrap your elbows around the knees, maybe grab the hands and let the head hang for a moment. So it's almost kind of creating a seated child's pose for yourself. So adjust as you need so it feels, again, really comforting, really nurturing. And really feel your sit bones here, that bony part of the seat. Even get a sense of this connection of the low belly to the thighs. So as we work in building stability in the legs this evening, so much of that comes from this low belly thigh connection, so that we're working in a way to really support the low back. And part of that is getting sensitive to the bones of the seat, the bones of the pelvis, and that connection from, again, the legs into the torso. And now gently open your eyes. Some of you may be there already. Let's come to tabletop. Come onto hands and knees. And as you take the wrists under the shoulders, flip your right wrist. So take your right fingers out to the right first. Yeah. And just check in with that. If that feels okay, go ahead and flip the wrist all the way so the finger points to the knees. Yeah. And notice how the weight tends to go in the pinky side of the hand. Try to bring the weight more evenly, and if anything, more weight into the mound of the index finger, mound of the thumb. And then with the breath, as you inhale, lift the gaze up, so think cow. And then exhale, round into cat. We're just going to stay here. So inhale, let that right wrist, right collarbone open. And then exhale, bow. Just keep moving with the breath. Yeah, and you can always come out of this if you need to. I know the wrist can be pretty sensitive for some of us, so be mindful of the stretch. Be mindful when you need to come out. Be mindful that maybe this is a stretch to do every day that you may need to do. And then go ahead and find neutral, and we're gonna switch. So take that right hand forward. Sometimes I'll come to my fingertips if it felt like a bit of a shock. And then let's do that to the left. So fingers to the left, check in if that's okay, rotate all the way. Try to get the wrists on the same parallel line. So again, lining up with the shoulder joint. And then maybe start to add some movement. So again, inhale, lifting the heart. And then exhale to round. And move in rhythm with your breath. Maybe you continue with the rhythm of the count that we started with. But use the sensation of the breath just to guide you. Where can you breathe? Where can you actually start to slow down so there's a sense of wholeness, a sense of integration within the movement? One last round. And then as you find neutral, point that left hand forward. And you can actually come to fingertips with both hands, just kind of test it out a little bit, see how it feels. It's a nice way to start to build some strength a little differently. And then imagine you could draw a circle with your tailbone at the wall behind you. So you're just gonna start to make a nice big circle with the hips. And you can even start to, if you like, move the shoulders with the movement. So we're creating this circular movement through these larger joints of the hips and the shoulders. Maybe let the head go a little bit more. Often this circular movement, it kind of works against these habit patterns that we have. It helps us feel into some of the kinks, some of the tightness a little differently, so that we can create space and bring movement around it. Start to make circles in the other direction. You can always start small, let them get a little bigger. You're always welcome to move more dynamically if you need to. And your practice is really for you just to listen and move how you need. It's always an invitation, never an obligation. I'm always speaking from my perspective, my experience. Take what works and leave the rest. And then go ahead, slowly come to center. Plant both hands firmly to the earth. Maybe they're there already. And then come to downward facing dog. So again, wrists about as wide as the shoulders, maybe a little wider, and then move those hips up and back. And just find this nice stability in your hands. See if you can lengthen through the spine a little bit more. So working the contrast as the hands press down and forward. There's a sense of the armpits lifting into the heart, the thigh bones reaching towards the wall behind you, and just letting the whole body get really long inside. And now walk your hands to your feet. Take the feet a little wider. Bend your knees as deeply as you need to, and take your sit bones to the wall. So as if we were still seated on the ground, take your sit bones to the wall, and your feet, my feet are about a foot length away from the wall. It's going to depend on how tight your hamstrings are, adjust as you need to. So again, feet can come really wide. But see if you can find a place where the head can just hang. Maybe even bend the elbows and grab opposite elbows with the hands. Relax the jaw, soften the tongue. Again, ground. Find the support of the earth. Long exhales. So we're starting to send these signals to the nervous system, to the circuitry of the body, that you can change your rhythm, that you can create a new way of being by slowing down the breath, by moving intentionally, by finding these little ways to create a sense of slowing down. Release the hands to the earth. Take your time, maybe bend the knees a little bit more, slowly roll the spine all the way up. And then as you come to stand against the wall. You can take the heels to the wall, feet will touch. Rest the arms along to the sides for a moment. And then notice where the head wants to go, depending on your proportions, depending on your body. Maybe the skull gently rests on that wall. Maybe it floats away from it. But let it be kind of a baseline for how long, how aligned you can be within the bones. And now inhale, slowly take the arms wide and high. Feet can come as close together as they can. And then hold your left wrist with your right hand. And again, I'm facing you, I'm mirroring you here. Inhale, lengthen, and then lean to your right. And notice how that left shoulder wants to kind of drop forward. See if you can keep that left shoulder blade in line with the wall. Again, maybe it's touching the wall even, kissing it ever so gently, just again to help you kind of find that baseline where the body's parallel to the wall. You might even find a deeper stretch when there's this kind of boundary helping you stay aligned. And then inhale, reach up. We'll come to the other side. Hold the right wrist. And then lean on over to your left. Same thing. Notice your tendency. Maybe that left hip wants to get closer to the wall while the right shoulder rounds forward. Think of the hips and the shoulder blades staying parallel. Notice the neck. Feel the feet. Reset the rhythm as you need to. So at any moment you feel yourself kind of coming off rhythm, coming out of alignment, can you adjust and come back? And then inhale, come back to center. Gently lower the hands to the heart. Go ahead and step forward to the front of the mat. If you have a strap, lovely. If not, that's okay. But if you do have a strap, mine is not. Oh, there we go. Okay. Have a little loop with the strap. Just about so it's 6 inches. And then what you'll do is I'm actually going to have you face the long edge of your mat. So I'm actually going to still be facing you guys. But you're going to take your wrists into that little loop. So your hands will come behind you. Some of you will just interlace the hands. Some of you will just grab opposite wrists with the hands. Or my favorite is to have the hands in the loop. Maybe even the hands don't touch, but you still have that shoulder stretch and there's no strain in the wrist that way. And then take your feet nice and wide as if you're in a nice wide stance. So you're facing the long edge of the mat. Sorry, Lisa, I should have given you a cue to do that first. So facing the long edge of the mat, just get long inside. Press the floor away, lift the heart. Really let the shoulder blades squeeze together. And then some of you will stay here or bend the knees a bit. And then as you firm the thighs, come into a forward fold. Maybe your hands stay kissing the low back there, or stretch your arms vertical to the earth. My whole upper back just popped. And then again, stay steady in the legs. Not about them being straight, more about them being strong. And then maybe bend your right knee a little bit and take your fist towards your left foot. You can even think of your navel moving in and to the right. And then you can inhale, come to center, straighten both legs, fist to the center, and then lean to your left, take the fist to the right hip. And you can kind of continue that, gently moving side to side here. Just kind of flossing the shoulders, getting in there right away, nice and steady. And then once, come back to center, take one more stretch, squeeze, inhale, squeeze the shoulders in, stretch the arms up. Exhale, release the hands to the earth, get rid of the strap. Long exhale. And then slowly heel toe your feet together. And then as you press the feet down, inhale, take your time. You can roll the spine up. Maybe the arms come wide and high. Roll the shoulders around. Dance the arms around a little bit. Yeah. And then now come to face the front of your mat, hands to the heart. And we'll do a couple half sun salutes from here. So press the feet down, inhale, reach the arms wide and high. And then exhale, fold all the way to the earth. Bend the knees as much as you need to, forehead towards the shins. Inhale, lift the spine halfway, long, and then exhale, bow. Press the feet down, inhale, reach all the way up. Again, arms wide and high. And then exhale, hands to heart center. Two more just like that. Press the feet down, inhale, rise. And then exhale, take your bow. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale, fold. Press the feet down, inhale, rise. And then hands to the heart. Last one, press the floor away. Inhale, reach up. And then exhale, bow. Inhale, lift the spine halfway. And now step your left foot all the way back. And I'm actually going to turn around and mirror you guys for this one. So step right foot forward, left foot will come back. And then lower your left knee all the way down. Make sure the sole of the right foot's on the ground. Even make sure you're at a 90-degree angle so the knee and the ankle are stacked. And then take your armpit and see if you can actually wrap it around the knee joint so that the armpit and the knee, almost like they're designed to fold. And you can actually kind of use the knee to massage the lymph in the armpit a little bit. Yeah. And then once you've in there a few times, go ahead and take that right hand to the earth. Again, fingertips are fine. And if you need to, you can even walk the right foot in a little bit. So there's this solid connection, right thigh bone, right knee, right armpit. Feel the grounding, the firmness of that. Squeeze the legs together. And then press the top of that left foot, so press that back foot down. Root the tailbone, and then reach your arms forward. And then as you reach the arms forward, slowly come all the way up. So as you rise, you're really spacious in the joints. Stay here for a moment, root the tailbone, really lift up through the fingertips. And then easy twist to your right, take your left hand down, reach your right arm straight up. Squeeze the legs together. Twist along the axis, so think navel in and up. Yeah. See if you can create, so especially as that right hip draws into the midline, can you create kind of the same connection through the thigh bone, through the waist, supporting you through the crown of the head. And then lower the right hand to the earth. Once more, right armpit, right knee. Scooch that left knee back a little bit. Runner stretch, straighten your right leg. But again, a little different. Try to keep the connection of the knee and the armpit as you start to straighten the right leg. It's not going to be perfectly straight. I want you to, again, to bend the knee a little bit, get a little more support from that thigh bone, low belly connection, and then take the gaze ever so slightly forward. One more breath here. So again, right sit bone, right thigh bone back. And then go ahead, bend that right knee, come back to a low lunge. Lift that left knee up. Step your left foot forward to fold. Inhale, lift the spine halfway. Exhale, step your right foot back. So left foot forward, right foot back. Lower the right knee down. Again, make sure you have a nice knee and ankle are stacked. Walk the foot in a little bit if you need to, and then take that armpit around the knee and think little lymph massage here first. So you're just really getting into the armpit, moving the lymph, moving the tissue. And then after a few times, as you feel that connection, go ahead, take the left hand to the earth. Fingertips are great. Firm the leg, squeeze left hip, right inner thigh together. Find that connection, thigh bone to the low belly, root the tailbone. Reach forward, so reach out of the hips, forward and up. And just transitioning with a little more strength that way. And then root to rise, really lift the heart. Find the back bend, shoulder blades kiss as the heart extends. And then easy twist to your left, take the right hand down, reach your left arm up. Even here, firm the legs. Keep that left thigh bone drawing in. And then as the navel moves in and up, stretch forward and then open. So the more you can reach the spine forward, the more you can start to find the twist. And then lower the left hand to the earth. Again, find that seal of the armpit to the knee. Right knee can scooch back a couple inches. Modified runner stretch. So you're going to slide the hips back, straighten the leg only so far as the knee and the armpit stay connected. So it's not about getting the leg straight. It's more about really creating support for the low back. And even just keeping the foot active will help you find the stretch so often the quad will try to clench up because it's lost that low belly thigh bone connection. One more breath. And then bend that left knee. Slide forward to that low lunge. Right knee will come up. Step your right foot forward next to the left. Take your fold. And now from here, bend your knees deeply. Think chair pose a little bit. But as you bend the knees deeply, again, you have that low belly thigh to connection. With that, start to firm the legs, reach the arms wide, and then come all the way up. So press down, reach up, using the bend of the knees to actually find a little more stability, a little more strength. And then hands to heart center. And now we're gonna modify a little bit. Press the feet down, yep, inhale, rise. Exhale, take the bow. Inhale, lift the spine halfway. Step your left foot back. So right foot forward, left foot back. Lower the knee. Inhale, reach the arms wide and high. And then here as you lift, bend the elbows, grab opposite elbows with the hands. And then think up, so lift the elbows up. And then with that, maybe lift the chest a little higher. So again, we're lifting out of the joints. We're really making space for them. And then keeping the sense of width through the chest, interlace the hands behind your head. So they're actually going to come to the very base of the skull. Squeeze the elbows together. And then as you gently press the skull back, again, gently press the skull into the hands, see if you can actually get more lift through the crown of the head. So elbows up, tailbone down, spacious everywhere in between. And then with that, inhale, reach up through the fingertips, let the palms touch. And then as you slide the hands to heart center, stay here as you inhale. Exhale, twist to your right. So you're going to hook the left elbow to the outside of the right thigh. Look up or down. Once more, firm the legs. Think of the spine lengthening forward. And then see with that length, how deeply can you twist? Maybe even imagining someday that left armpit wrapping around that right knee to help you find the twist. And then inhale, take the hands to frame that right foot. Left knee will lift up. Step your left foot forward next to the right. Take your fold. Inhale, lift the spine halfway. Exhale, right foot will come back. Lower the knee. Reach all the way up, arms wide and high, lift through the fingertips. And now bend the elbows. This time take the opposite frame, so whatever feels a little funky. And then as you hug into center, again, lift through the waist, lift up through the elbows, maybe even the gaze rises. Just as imagining the bones floating apart from the inside, because you're so integrated, so rooted through the foundation of the leg, you can feel all this extra space. And now interlace the hands to the base of the skull, squeeze the face with the elbows, and then again, lengthen up, elbows up, gently press the skull into the hands so there's a sense of length in the waist. And super spacious through the vertebrae. And then with that, as you inhale, reach the fingers up, palms touch, lower the hands to the heart. Stay here as you inhale, and then as you exhale, twist to your left. So right elbow outside the left thigh. Again, firm the legs, so squeeze the legs. Again, think long spine as you slowly really deepen the twist. Even think of the gaze forward and slightly up. Notice if that feels better on the neck. Look down if you need to. And then as you inhale, unwind, hands to the earth. Lift your right knee up. Step your right foot forward next to the left. Take your fold. Inhale, lift the spine halfway. Exhale, bow. Press the feet down. Inhale, reach the arms wide and high. And then take your hands to heart center. And now press the floor away, lift all the way up. Exhale, take it down. Inhale, lift the spine halfway. This time as you plant your hands, step back to downward facing dog. And then inhale, come forward to plank, top of a push-up. You can lower the knees first if you choose, but find that same length through the waist, through the ribs, and then come all the way down onto your belly. And then I'm gonna switch around for you guys. Grab one of your blocks, and you're actually gonna take the block. Sorry, I'm still getting used to having a mic on my hip. Take the block between the thighs. So the narrowest edge of the block between the thighs. Point the feet. And then as you hug the block, take the hands under the shoulders, just as if you were in down dog, same width. Press the feet down. Feel the firm of the thighs. And then as you root the tailbone down, think long first. Press the hands down and back so the spine elongates forward. And then to come up, lift the shoulders to capacity first, then lift the heart, lift the head. Don't use the hands quite yet. See if you can actually get the lift from your center. And then if you like, you can press the hands down
maybe lift a little higher. Most likely you're not going to go as high as you're used to because you have this extra stability, this extra boundary of the legs. And then slowly release. Press yourself to tabletop. You can actually go ahead, get rid of the block. And then come, tuck the toes under, downward facing dog. Bend the knees deeply. Think of the sit bones as the highest point of the pose. So it's a little different. With the knees bent, you have more access to that structure of the bones and actually more stability within the shape here. And giving yourself permission to slow down. Creating your rhythm, creating your pace as you need to stay present. And then walk your feet forward towards your hands. Inhale, lift the spine halfway. Exhale, bow. Bend the knees as much as you need to. Press the feet down. Inhale, reach all the way up. And then take your hands to your heart. Come to face the long edge of the mat. So come back to a nice wide stance. Hands to the hips. Yeah. And make sure the feet are parallel. So think outer edges of the feet parallel to the short edge of the mat. Almost so the toes are almost coming in a little bit. Yeah. And that's actually going to keep in that nice rooting of the thigh bones, sort of the thigh bones plugged into the socket of the hip joint. Turn your right toes out 90 degrees. And then bend that right knee. Take your left hand to the front of your left thigh bone and imagine you could just press that left thigh bone back. And left hand, left thigh bone. And then you're going to take the heel of the right hand to the crease of where the right thigh meets the right hip. And as you press evenly through the legs, even press that right hand down into the right thigh bone as if you could manually press the thigh bone into the socket of the hip. And then with that, take your arms wide for warrior two. Again, root to rise, press evenly through the feet. Maybe the breath naturally rises from the inside. You can always take the gaze forward towards the right hand fingertips. And then straighten that right leg, hands to the hips. Bring the right toes in. Turn the left toes out. And then, so right hand to the front of the right thigh bone. And just, imagine you could press the right thigh bone back. But then as you bend the left knee 90 degrees, take the heel of that left hand to the top of the left thigh bone. Make sure the knee's tracking wide. And just imagine you could actually press that left thigh bone into the socket of the hip. And you actually might find more space through the hip joint that way. And then stay here or let the arms come wide. See how rooted you can get through the feet. Yeah. Even think, again, sort of that same lift as if you could just rise out of the joints and slow the inner body. And then straighten that left leg. Take the hands to the hips. Bring your left toes in. And then slowly heel toe your feet together. I almost forgot I wanted to use the wall a little bit. So we just did the left side. So take your left foot to the wall. So those of you here, you're actually going to turn around. So the outer edge of your left foot is going to come flush to the wall. And those, if you don't have a wall, that's perfectly fine. It's going to be the same wide stance. So take your right foot out. I'm just going to go this way. So your left foot is to the wall. Okay. And then you're going to flush your right foot towards the center of the mat. And just find that same wide stance we always work with. But now you have the wall for a little extra boundary. Turn that right foot out 90 degrees. Bend the knee. This time, side angle pose. Take the right elbow to the top of the right thigh. Stay here for a moment. Press the elbow to the thigh. Lengthen the waist. Reach your left arm towards the wall behind you. Move the front of the shoulder to the back of the shoulder, and then reach that left arm straight up. Maybe even take that top arm along the ear. Press the left foot down and into the wall. Feel how firm the leg gets. See if you can let the right knee drop a little wider. Lift out of the bones of the hips, out of the hip joint a little bit more that way. And then press down, inhale, come all the way up, hands to the hips. Turn that front foot in, heel toe the feet together. And then we'll do that on the other side. So now you guys will have your right foot to the wall. Heel toe that left foot towards the front of the mat. So find that same wide stance. And then turn your left toes out 90 degrees. Bend the knee. Take that left elbow to the top of the thigh. Make sure the knee is tracking wide, so big toe forward, knee wide. Press the elbow down, get firm. And then reach that right hand behind you, front of the shoulder. We'll move back, and then, reach up. Maybe take it to the ear. Find more depth here. Press the right foot down and into the wall. Notice how that left inner thigh starts to widen towards the left pinky toe. Again, giving you space through the low back, through the hips, through the whole body. And then press down, come all the way to rise, hands to the hips. Bring those front feet in, and then slowly heel toe the feet together. We're going to do one more standing pose with the wall. Have your block, we'll come to triangle pose. So your left foot to the wall. Block to your right hand. And then again, so the outer edge of the foot is firmly sealed to the wall. And then you're going to heel toe that right foot so you find the same wide stance. Turn the right toes out 90 degrees. Make sure that front leg is firm. Again, you can even tap the block, make sure the quad is strong. And then as you keep that firmness in the leg, see if you can create that action of lifting out of the bones of the hips, and then take your right hand slowly to the outside of that right foot. And then left arm can come straight up. Start with the back leg first. We really always want to start with the back leg. It's the anchor. Press the left foot back and down into the wall. Even think of the outer right hip reaching towards the wall. Get grounded through the mount of the right big toe. And then can you lift out of the space of the hips? Maybe draw the navel in and up a little bit more. Look forward and slightly up. See if that gets a little extra space for the neck. And then press down, come all the way to rise, hands to the hips. You can take the block with you. Front foot will turn in. Heel toe your feet together. And then other side, so turn around. So now, your right foot to the wall. And then slowly heel toe to your wide stance. Turn your left toes out 90 degrees. Block to that left hand. Tap the quad, make sure the thigh is very firm. And again, thinking lift up out of the hips, use the core, left hand to the outside of that left foot. Maybe the right arm reaches up. Press the right foot down and into the wall. Think of the outer left hip moving back. Press down through the mount of that left big toe. And then with that refinement, reach forward, even look forward, and then up. Feeling the pose, super grounded, so steady. Space with each breath. And then press down, come all the way to stand up. Turn those left toes in. Heel toe your feet together. Come to stand. You can bring the block to the front of the mat. We're going to do one more standing pose and then take it to the earth. Grab your blanket. This is probably my favorite thing to do this time of year. We've been doing a bit more lately. So we're going to do pyramid pose with the blanket. So if we were at the mat at the studio, your blanket would look like that. And then make a nice tight roll along the long edge. And roll it up as tightly as you can. And I'm going to come around to my side so you guys can see me. Have your 2 blocks in front of the blanket ready to go. And then the ball of the right foot will come to the roll and the heel will be on the ground. Okay. And then bend both knees really. Take your hands to your blanket. Yeah, be careful. So just 1 foot on the roll. And then you're going to step that left foot back maybe 3 feet or so. So pyramid pose. Yeah. And let's all start with the right knee bent. And make sure that back foot, make sure you feel steady. So you might need to take the left foot out to the left a little bit more so the heel is on the ground and you feel steady. All right. And now with that right knee bent deeply, lift and spread the toes. So the mound of the big toe is going to press into the blanket. The tips of the toes will lift up towards your face. And then as you squeeze the right hip, left inner thigh together, start to slowly straighten that right leg to not beyond capacity. Again, you have the blanket there, so it's going to feel different. Be really mindful with the movement. And then I often like to actually walk my fingertips forward in this so my upper body has a little more length. But it's that action again, right hip back, mound of the big toe into the blanket. And we're going to take 2 more breaths here. Just let the whole body fill with breath. Long exhales connecting to that grounding, slowing down internally. And then to come out, walk your hands back under the shoulders. Bend that right knee as deeply as you need to, both knees. And then you're going to kind of hop. Actually, there's a couple ways you can come off. Some of you can take the right foot off the roll first. Step the left foot forward next to the right. Long exhale, long fold. And then press the feet down. Inhale, reach the arms wide and high. Nice lift up through the fingertips. Maybe even little side to side action, working it out a bit. And then we'll come to the other side. So now you're going to take the ball of the left foot onto the roll. Heel will be on the ground. Bend both knees. So again, so you feel steady, then the hands will come to the blocks first. Step that right foot back about 3 feet. Again, make sure you feel steady. So maybe take it wider, adjust however you need, and then bend your left knee deeply. Lift and spread the toes. So again, the tips of the toes curl up towards your face. Press the mound of the big toe down. And then as the outer left hip moves back, straighten that leg, again, only so far as you can, as you can intelligently. And then maybe if you like, you can walk the blocks, the fingertips forward. So it's almost like the upper body's in a down dog. That's just going to give you a little more length. 2 more nice big breaths here, feeling the actions. Again, with the roll, you might feel the calf stretch more than the hamstring stretch. That's perfect. Whatever your sensations are is what they are. And then to come out, walk those blocks back. Maybe take the left foot off the blanket first. No matter what, it always feels a little awkward. Right foot forward next to the left. Take a nice fold. Press the feet down. Inhale, reach the arms wide and high. Again, maybe kind of shift side to side a little bit. Dance it around a little bit. And then hands to the heart. And do one more little, come to the floor. So press the feet down. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, fold all the way down. Stay here for a moment in the forward fold. Feel the forward fold. Can you let the head go a little bit more? And just notice, just presence here for a moment. How does it feel different? That first standing forward fold we did with the sit bones to the wall. How do you feel? Do you feel more solid? Do you feel more connected? And then place your hands. Step your feet back to downward facing dog. Inhale, come forward to plank, top of a push-up. Knees can always come down first. Firm the legs, tone the belly, come all the way down. Point the feet. We're gonna do one last belly back bend. Arms can come along the sides, point the palms up. You can really bring the feet to touch here. And then lift the shoulders, lift the heart, lift the head. So half locust. If you feel steady, you can lift the arms. If you choose, you can even lift the legs up. Root the tailbone, lift up a little higher. And then slowly let it go. Place the hands under the shoulders. And then come to have a seat. And then when you come to have a seat, take your legs nice and wide. And with the legs wide, bend your right knee. Yeah. And hands can come behind the hips. If you need to, you can take a block outside the knee or even a blanket to your sit bones. And then twist to your right. So you're going to take your left hand to the outside of that right thigh. Left hand, right thigh. Yeah, you have the right. Yeah, you got it. But you can take the legs wide if that's more comfortable, or stay where you're at. Yeah. Yeah, so inhale, lengthen. And then just take a gentle twist to the right. Maybe even look to your right. Look past that right shoulder a bit. And now, take your left hand, actually go ahead and walk your hands over to frame your left foot. Let's do it this way. Press the hands down, lift the heart. And then start to walk your hands forward, this time coming into a forward fold over that left leg. And maybe the forehead comes towards the left knee. But no, there is a little bit of a twist here. So the tendency is to kind of lean into that left sit bone. Take maybe 50% of the weight into that right sit bone. Draw the navel in into the left, and then bow, let your head get a little heavier. You can always take your hands to frame that left shin if you need to. Take a nice bow. And now bring your left elbow to the inside of that left leg, and you can use a block for this as well if you choose. So maybe the elbow comes onto a block, or maybe the elbow comes to the ground. But really firm the legs here. Press the elbow into the thigh, thigh to the elbow. And one thing, you can actually take the right hand to the inner right thigh bone. So as you press the thigh bone down, you can lengthen that right waist. And then if you feel steady, you can reach that right arm up to the sky. And then maybe even reach that right hand towards that left foot. Maybe someday it'll even touch the foot. Some days that works, some days it doesn't. See if you can let the head go a little bit. And then take that right hand to the earth. Walk both of your hands forward so they are in line with your hips, but look up this time. So think a little bit of a back bend through the chest. And then slowly walk your hands back. Take the right leg out wide. And then let's do that on the other side. You can always turn the ankles around a couple times if you like. So slide the left foot in. Start with the twist first. So left hand will come behind you, right hand to the outside of the thigh. Inhale, lengthen. And then exhale, gently twist. You can even look to your left. One more breath. And then take your time, go ahead and walk your hands over slowly to frame that right foot. And then walk your hands forward towards your right ankle. And notice the feet, notice the sit bones even. Take 50% and lean into that left sit bone a bit. Think of the navel moving in and to the right. You can even think of the hands pressing down and to your left to invite the navel to the right, and that might help you find a deeper fold. You can always walk the hands forward, sometimes crossing the wrists around the shin can be nice. But even here, long exhales. Even here, can you stay sensitive to your breathing? Giving your whole body permission to just ground. And now you're going to slide that right elbow to the inside of that right thigh, or you take it on a block. And then as you press the elbow into the thigh to the elbow, reach that left arm straight up. Think of the arms reaching apart, and then take that left hand towards the right foot. Again, be mindful of the neck. And then slide that left hand forward, walk both fingertips forward in line with your hips. But find a hint of a back bend. So as the hands press down and back, as the inner thighs move back, lift the heart, take the gaze forward a little bit. And then walk the hands back, take the spine upright. Go ahead, take that left leg out, shake them around a little bit. And then I actually want to end in a forward fold, and there's a couple, so this is where the strap, if you have the strap, make a nice big loop with it. If you don't have a strap, again, not necessary. But I was reminded of this version of a seated forward fold that is really lovely. So rolled up blanket can actually come underneath your knees. And then Lisa, if you want, since you can actually, if you're more comfortable seated on a blanket, you can take your blanket underneath your seat and your skinny bolster underneath your knees. Yeah. And then, so the feet kind of give us an idea of what's happening in the hips. And so for most of us, our feet want to kind of fly out. It's really lovely to actually take a strap, loop it. One end is looped around the low back. Oh, I just made mine too small. And then the other end of the loop can actually come around the balls of the feet. And Lisa, that might not actually be long enough to do this. Didn't think about that. Yeah, most of us have 6-foot straps, and you probably need at least an 8-foot one to do this one. And again, not necessarily necessary, but lovely if you have it. But I do want to have the knees bent. And then think of, as you can kind of, we didn't do this earlier, but if you think like sit bones wide, sometimes leaning and actually moving the sit bones wide can kind of open the low back. And then you're just going to take your hands forward into a forward fold. And some of you might actually benefit from bending the knees even more. And if you want, sometimes if you have a big bolster, that can be really nice too. But I do want you to be mindful of the low back. Take your 2 blocks and you can actually stack them accordingly so that you have a little extra support for your forehead. So hands can come wherever is comfortable. Forehead is supported on blocks. Sometimes we'll even take a bolster lengthwise on top of the legs and forward fold that way. But I really enjoy this with the knees deeply bent because it creates that nice alignment. And please modify as you need to, find any little micro movements that you need to so that you feel comfortable. So the low back really has the space that it needs. And just imagine the whole body breathing. Especially, you might even notice a sense of extra space along the back of the lungs, back of the ribs, the kidneys. And especially in this position, if the mind is having a hard time slowing down, count it. And you can breathe in for 4 and exhale for 4. Maybe even breathe in for 4 and exhale for 6. I'll take about 3 more really slow, steady breaths here. Now take your time. Use your hands, walk the spine upright. Blocks will probably fall over to the side. And then just sit up tall for a moment. And sorry, I got a lot of props around me. Take your time to slowly lay down on your back. And if you want to take the legs up the wall, similar to how we started, you are welcome to. You can always lay supine on your back or find a nice, comfortable, cross-legged seat. Love your breath. Place your hands anywhere on the torso that is comforting for you and just breathe. Feel what part of your body is touching the earth. Feel the gentle movement of the breath along the back body. And then notice what parts of the body are facing the sky. And even notice how the breath opens the front body. And take a pause to feel you at the center of it all. This new rhythm forming inside you, being created by you. And just feel this practice, whatever gifts it has provided you, new connections, new sensations. Just breathing it all in. And then gently start to move your fingers, move your toes, hug your knees into your chest. And then take your time, gently roll over to your side. Whatever side is intuitive for you. And then, come to a comfortable seat. Take your hands to heart center and bow. And finding this the bones of the seat this integrity, this strength within your foundation, and all this new space that's formed, giving you the gift of your pause, giving you the opportunity to slow down as you need to. Permission to enjoy this season that invites quiet, that is asking us to slow down, to sleep a little longer, nourish ourselves a little bit more, listening and following what you need for your heart. So much gratitude. Namaste. Thank you. Thank you.